Hi there. My name is Jennifer O'Sullivan. I'm a teacher here at Studio B. I'm going to be taking you through a gentle yoga practice this afternoon, one that focuses on releasing any stress that has accumulated in the soft tissues in your body. So, this would be the kinds of tension that comes from unconsciously gripping or holding your muscles really tightly. Sometimes we develop that habit and then we forget that we're doing that and we forget to let go and relax. And over time, this becomes chronic tension in the myofascia or the muscles and connective tissue, which can lead to long term consequences in terms of muscles being stiff, lacking our natural ranges of motion so that we feel really mobile and flexible to a really natural degree. So we're not talking about getting really super bendy, but being able to inhabit the capacities that are already there, but we're being held back from because we're gripping so tightly all the time. So we're going to do some really gentle, soft movement that is specifically designed to unravel some of this held tension in the body. Okay, we're going to start by coming down onto your back. And you want to bend your knees and separate your feet a little bit wider than your hips. If you're on a yoga mat, you would line them up approximately along the edge of the mat. And then let your knees knock in. And so when you bring your knees together, you might need to adjust your feet a little bit so that your knees actually do touch. The idea here is that your knees are holding the legs up so that you're not having to use any muscle tension to keep them in the air. So it's like a little lean-to, right? And then you're going to take the arms and reach the fingertips up towards the sky, and maybe your shoulder blades even come up off of the floor a little bit. And then cross your arms right over your chest and reach around for your shoulder blades. You might not touch your shoulder blades all the way, but that's the direction that you're going. And then once you've crossed your arms completely, let them go soft, just like empty coat sleeves. So that's where this pose gets its name. And then you can close your eyes and tune into your breathing. If you notice that when you come into this shape and your arms are crossed over your chest, it encourages your breath to move down into your belly. Not only is this a nice, gentle stretch for your upper back and shoulders, but that encouragement to breathe into the belly will help to ignite the part of our nervous system that is going to set in when we're relaxed. We call this the rest and digest part of our nervous system. It's the opposite of the fight or flight. So every breath out, feel yourself releasing into the support of the ground beneath you. Maybe you feel your lower back making a little bit more contact with the floor. Feel your arms get a little floppier. Breath naturally slowing down as it rises and falls in the belly. On your next inhale, unwind the arms, reaching the fingertips back up towards the sky again, and then recross with the other arm on top. And again, reaching towards the shoulder blades, even if you don't quite get there. And then let the arms get heavy. You may notice when you switch side a shift in sensation, or you may not. Bringing your attention back into the slow breathing in your belly. Let your mind be clear of extraneous thoughts and plans, thoughts about the past, thoughts about the future. Let all of that settle into the background for now, knowing that you can always come back to it later. This leaves you with a more quieter internal space where you can watch the breath. I'll stay here just a little bit longer. And then the next time you inhale, once again, uncross the arms, reaching up towards the sky. And then let your hands float down to your belly. You can leave your legs here. And take a moment to think about what you need in your life to feel settled and grounded and whole. What would make you feel safe enough to release some tension in your body? Maybe it's practices like mindfulness and yoga. So we bring forward those intentions of cultivating the capacities within us to feel at home with ourselves. And now take your arms out to the side. You can either stretch them out like a T shape or a loose T shape, or if you prefer cactus arms, sometimes we call this goalpost arms. And you're going to separate your knees, but you're going to keep your feet further apart. You might even walk them even further apart than they are now. And then start to lower your knees side to side. We call this windshield wiper legs. And when you move your legs side to side, we want them to be on the intermittent setting, so nice and slow. This movement here is really nice for releasing tension in the low back and along the outer hips. So do a few more to each side. Maybe you find it beneficial to synchronize your in and out breath with the movement. So maybe it's inhale to one side and exhale to the other. And next time your knees are pointing up to the center, pause the movement. And just leave them there. And now take hold of your elbows right above your chest and start to lower your arms side to side. And the elbows may or may not come into contact with the floor on each side. It's up to you. It's a little bit of a twist. And keep your knees pointing up to the sky, and for now, the nose pointing up to the sky. We will add on. So the next time your elbows are over to the right, turn your head to the left. And then inhale, elbows and nose back to center. And then when the elbows go to the left, turn your head in the opposite direction to the right. And then continue this way at a gentle pace, matched with your breath. So pause the movement, nose and elbows pointing up towards the sky. We're going to synchronize the movement of the knees, the elbows, and then we'll add on the head last. So start by moving your knees, lowering them to one side and then the other. I'm bumping into something over here, so I'm going to scooch a little forward. I do have a tendency to travel sometimes doing windshield wiper legs, so if you are moving along on your mat, you can scooch back. And then when you're ready, start to move the elbows and the knees in the opposite direction. Let the head stay stationary for now. Notice any tendency to start to rush and see if you can slow that down. There's nowhere to go right now, but being here in the present moment so we can slow time down by lingering as long as we can. And then you'll start to add the head, and the nose points in the same direction as the knees. So still opposite direction of the elbows. And it's not necessary for the legs to make it all the way down to the floor, nor the arms, nor your ears. It's just allowing what your body will naturally yield. Okay, we'll pause the movement. Let the arms float down by your side. Make any adjustments to your clothing if you get a little rumpled after that. And then just take a pause here. Scanning your body, noticing how you feel. So noticing the effects on this gentle movement on your hips and low back, arms and shoulders, and your neck. Maybe you also get a sense of how this gentle movement can impact your mind state and how you feel. We often find that when we start to release tension in the body, it creates a release of tension in the heart mind. So things just start to settle the way that they do after you stop shaking a snow globe. Just everything kind of falls to the bottom and you're left with clear water. We'll walk the feet a little closer together and then a little closer to your hips so that the legs are in alignment with one another. And place the arms by your side. And on an inhale, press into your feet and peel your pelvis up off of the floor and into the air. And as you exhale, slowly roll back down. setting down one vertebrae at a time. And then inhale, roll up. And exhale, slowly roll down. And do this a few more times, just like this, taking your time. Moving with breath. One of the gifts of being at home, with nowhere to go, is our ability to slow things down a little bit. I've been really appreciating not sitting in traffic where I live. There's a lot of traffic. I'm not feeling like I'm late all the time. That sense of rushing around and letting that go has been really sweet. We want to bring that kind of feeling into our yoga practice, just kind of slow things down a little bit and let this be a place where we don't have to move so quickly. Next time you inhale and peel the hips up, start to take the arms up towards the ceiling and overhead. And then exhale, roll the spine back down and sweep the arms up and over, back towards the hips. Inhale, pelvis pulls up, arms reach up. Exhale, everything comes back down. We'll do that a couple more times. And we'll go up one more time after this one, but instead of coming straight down, stay. Take a couple breaths here. And pull back on your heels a little bit so that you're not scrunched up into your neck. And keep your arms overhead as you slowly roll the spine down, one bone at a time. Tailbone will touch. Take another breath, arms stay overhead. And then exhale, sweep the arms out and down. And we'll pause again and just take notice of how that gentle, simple movement has shifted and any sensations in your body or created something new. Now we'll bring the knees into the chest. You can rock a little bit side to side. A little squeeze here. Stretch out the low back and the hips. And go ahead and place your feet back down on the floor. And take your right ankle bone and place it across your knee like you're sitting into a chair. Let that knee rotate out to the side. And then we'll bring this shape, we call this figure four, in towards the body. And you can loop your fingers around your thigh and let that left lower leg flop. It's loose and floppy. You can roll your left ankle a few times in one direction and then in the other direction. And pause, let your feet flop again. And just feel that stretch in the outer hip. This is an area where a lot of people carry tension, so it's nice to loosen that up a bit. Next exhale, bring your left foot back to the floor, but keep this figure four shape. Take your arms out like a T again. And you're going to maintain this shape as you lower the legs over to the left. Your right foot will stick to the floor and your right knee will more or less still point up. So we don't want to let it flop towards the ground. You might be able to, depending on the length of your torso and how long your arms are, hold on to that right ankle. What you want to do here is hold steady. Let this right foot really stick to the floor. But over here on your right hip bone, try to pull it back down towards the ground, like you're trying to come out of the twist, but you're not letting yourself actually do it. We call this adding traction. And there are times when this feels really nice, and there are other times when I don't feel very much. So if this is not a big sensation for you, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not doing it correctly. Just may mean that you don't really hold tension there right now. Some of you might be feeling like this is the best thing you've ever felt. I have days like that, and other days I don't. If you're holding onto the ankle, go ahead and let it go, and we'll bring this shape back up. Set the right foot down, and you might need to just lift and lower the hips so that everything's realigned. And now we'll take the left ankle to the right knee and bring the figure four shape in towards the chest again. Now it's the right leg that's floppy. You can circle the right ankle now, couple times in each direction. Pause, get floppy again. Let your attention, instead of avoiding or turning away from any strong sensation that you might feel, especially in the hips, let yourself go towards it and really experience it. And now we'll put the right foot back on the floor. Arms out to the side, and we'll take the figure four twist to the other side. And I'm a little too close to my altar here, so I'm gonna move out of the way. And then if you like, you can reach for that ankle. Try to keep that left foot stuck to the floor as you apply that traction to try and pull that left hip back down. And this is the side where I really feel it. It's a trouble spot for me here on the left, but your mileage may vary. When you're ready, release the ankle if you're holding on to it. Bring the legs back up. We'll set the left foot down on the floor, and we'll lift and lower the hips again to realign the spine. Pause again. Notice what you notice about the areas that you were just stretching. Outer hip, gluteal area. Okay, now we'll bring the right knee into the chest and stretch the left leg out to the floor. You want to check, make sure that you don't kind of pop off in a funny way. Your leg may or may not stretch all the way out. That's okay. So you might look a little more like this with the left knee bent. We're going to take this right knee into the left hand, right arm out like a T again. And now we'll take this into a twist. And the interest here is to try to keep the upper body still on the floor. So you don't want to feel that right shoulder start to come off. Don't go that far. Just try to stay anchored so that you rotate just the hips. Deeper spinal twist into the low back. And we'll unwind back to center. The left knee in, stretch out the right leg, a few breaths here, elongating the top of the thigh and into the lower abdomen. We call this the hip flexor area. It's an area where it's a little tired and sore if we sit a lot. So this is a nice way to just stretch that out. And we'll get ready for the twist on this side. So taking the left knee into the right hand, the left arm out to the side, bring the knee across the body. And again, we want this left shoulder to stay down as best as we can. Most people won't go all the way over. And then rolling back onto your back. We'll bring both knees back into the chest again. A little squeeze here. And you can either rock up, just rock right up, or you can roll over to one side and press yourself up. We'll come up to sit. I'm sure we're still recording. Not sure. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to sit in a comfortable cross-legged seat. Not everybody can sit directly on the floor, so you might find it beneficial to sit up on the edge of a blanket, or my favorite right now for people practicing at home is a folded up beach towel. They have a little more heft to them than the blanket that you might have on your couch, right? And the reason why you might want to sit up on the edge of something is to encourage this forward tilting of the pelvis, which makes it a little easier to sit up straight. So we want a nice straight spine here. You can rest your hands in your lap. You want to keep most of the spine long, just dropping your chin to the chest. And we'll take a couple breaths here and just notice the weight of your head. Now it gently pulls on the muscles in your neck. I call this next move Eeyore. I'm going to move very slowly, rolling the head a little bit to one side and then back to center, and then a little bit to the other side and back to center. So it's not a big move, and it's definitely not a quick move. That's why I call it Eeyore. It's walking along. As you're moving your head, you might find an area that's particularly tight. For me right now, it's here on the right side, and you might pause and just take a couple breaths there before moving your head again. This seems so simple, neck rolls, but in fact, they're super beneficial. And you can do them anywhere. My favorite thing these days is to sometimes turn my camera off when I'm on a conference call and do a little bit of neck and shoulder stretching. Maybe it's possible to start growing the movement a little bit more, so that instead of just swinging your head side to side, you're rolling up so that your ear starts to point more towards the top of your shoulder. And then let's pause with the chin back to the chest. Spine is still straight. We'll lift the head back up to center. And we'll focus on the shoulders. So you want to make sure that your chin is level with the floor. We're going to bring the shoulder heads forward, up towards the ears, back and down. So forward, up, back, and down. Do that a couple times. And you can start to just roll through it without that momentary pause at each stage, and just really enjoy simple shoulder rolls. We'll go the other way. So we squeeze the shoulder blades together, arm bones up, forward and down, back, forward, down. And then one more time, the other direction. So we can open with the chest broad. Now we'll take the arms out to the side, and you'll take your fingers and drape them in front of your arms. Your thumbs will be pointing towards the back. And we're going to circle the elbows. And if you can, touch them in front of your chest. They may or may not touch, that's okay. If you can draw the widest, biggest circles you can with your elbows. And then go the other way. What I like to do is really feel into the way that the shoulder blades are moving up and down my upper back. Think about them moving through all those muscles. This is where I carry a lot of tension. I'm massaging those muscles as they move. They say that motion is lotion for the soft tissues in the body. Let's go one more time in the other direction, just so that we open with the broadening of the collarbones, and let the arms float down. Just close your eyes for a moment. It's a little easier to turn inward when the eyes are closed, and take notice of any sensations that might be percolating through your shoulders and your upper back. It might be that you feel a little bit of warmth there, a streaming or a tingling sensation having done that movement. And we'll go ahead and uncross and recross the legs with the other one in front. Change things up a little bit. Make sure that you're seated securely in your seat, especially if you're sitting up on something that you don't want it to be so high that you're unstable. And now we're going to take the fingertips out to the side, straight out from the shoulder sockets. So just straight out, doesn't have to be back or front, just straight out. And on an inhale, take your right arm up alongside your ear. And as you exhale, lean over to the left. You want to keep that right sitting bone anchored to the floor. So you don't want to teeter-totter over to the side. You want to stay anchored. And then inhale back up to center. You can switch hands and exhale over to the right. Now it's the left hip bone that stays down. Inhale back up. Exhale to the other side. We'll go side to side a few more times. You may notice that the first few side bends feel a little stiff and creaky, but as you keep going, you start to feel those muscles warm up and soften and become more pliable. Just a little easier, a little less stiff. Maybe go a little further into the side bend while keeping your sitting bones anchored. I love side bends. Whenever I'm feeling a little bit, I'll come into my space and do a few side bends. Wake myself back up. Next time you're over to the right, we're gonna stay there. Okay, nice secure footing with that right hand, left sits bone fully anchored, left arm extended out. We're gonna take that arm and reach it back behind. Watch out for anything that might be behind you. Sweep it past the knee, past the other knee, towards the hand, as wide as you can, and then back up. So we're drawing the biggest circle that we possibly can. And we're not just anchoring it in the shoulder, we're allowing the upper back to move. So there's a little bit of twisting going on here. Very natural for the head to follow the fingers. So you're watching the hand move through these circles. Next time the arm is back alongside your ear and the side bend, stay there. And what you want to do is you want to bend your elbow a little bit and kind of line it up with your ear. And you're going to take a breath here. This is the inhale. As you exhale, turn towards the knee and drop the elbow a little bit. It's that internal rotation of the arm. You can tuck your chin. And then inhale, stretch back out, side bend. And exhale, rotate and curl. And then inhale, stretch out. Exhale, rotate and curl. One more time like that. I'll stretch back out, take a deep breath, and now turn completely towards that right knee. Lower yourself down. And kind of a rounded spine, rounded elbow. It feels like you're lowering yourself over a big round ball. And really lift up into that right shoulder blade, like you're trying to lift your right shoulder blade up towards the sky. And then inhale, come all the way back up. Let that left arm float down and just pause for a moment. Notice the difference in sensation between the two sides. Might even feel like your left arm has grown longer than your right. And then we'll inhale, right arm up alongside the ear. We'll take that side bend over to the left. Right sitting bone stays anchor. And now we're going to reach right hand back behind, down towards the floor, past the right knee, past the left knee, towards the left fingers, and back up and around, following the movement with your gaze. It's interesting to notice when one side feels stiffer, less mobile than the other. We don't need to get ourselves into trouble about that. It's just something to notice with curiosity. And it's true that our bodies are asymmetrical on the inside, and then we add to it different lifestyle habits, activities, postural habits, and so forth. Next time the arm is alongside the ear and you're in that side bend, we'll pause here, take a breath, inhale, and then we're going to turn now towards the left knee, let that right elbow drop down, tuck the chin, curl, and then inhale, stretch out, and exhale, curl, stretch out. Do a few more of those. We're going to come back into that side bend, stay there, take a breath, and now turn completely towards that left knee and fold down like you're reaching over a big ball. Send that right shoulder blade up into the sky. Next inhale, come all the way out and up. Let the arm fold down. Pause, close your eyes. Notice how you feel. And revisit windshield wiper legs. This time seated variation. So just sit back into your hands. Feet come out in front of you, wider than your hips. And we're going to start to take the knees over side to side. And these first few sweeps of the leg, just take notice of the position of your feet and the sensations that you can feel in your body. It should feel gentle, and you definitely don't want any strong sensation around the knee. So if you're feeling anything around the knee, you want to move the feet further away, or in my case, bring them closer in. Everybody's a little bit different. So explore the positioning of the feet and the bend in the knees to get something that feels right for your structure. We're going to add a rotation into this. So the next time the knees are over to the right, lean into the right hand and swing around. Look over the right shoulder. And then we'll come back around. Knees go to the other side, sweep around, look over the left shoulder. We'll go side to side a few times. Let's do one more. And then we'll come back to the right side. So let the knees drop to the right. Instead of twisting all the way around, just kind of sit up. Call this pinwheel legs. You want to adjust the feet again. Some people can go a little further out. I prefer just the way that my hips are configured. It's more comfortable to bring the feet in closer. I'm going to turn just a little bit so that you can see better. You're going to turn towards the right knee. You're going to put one hand on either side. Take a deep breath, sit up straight. And as you exhale, tuck your chin and dive your forehead down towards your knee. And then inhale, get really long as you come back up. We call these dolphin rolls. So exhale, tuck chin, roll down. And then inhale, get long, lift up through your nose to come back up. We'll do that a few more times. Next time you come up, pause. Lean back into the hands. Unwind the legs, come over to the other side. Reconfigure so it feels appropriate for your hips and your hip sockets. And then we'll turn towards the left leg, framing each hand. This time we're going to go in the opposite direction of the dolphin roll. So instead of diving straight down, we're going to elongate out and down. And then tuck the chin and roll back up. Exhale, out and down. Inhale, curl back up. A few more like this. The next time you come back up, pause. Lean back into your hands and we'll just stretch the legs out in front. Lean back into your hands like you're sitting on a beach blanket and shake out the feet. It feels a little weird. My feet are on this slippery part of the floor, but if you're on your mat, you might get a nice wagging of the feet. Mine are moving around a little bit more than they normally would. And kind of bounce the knees. And pause, close your eyes, and notice what you feel, that circulation of energy through your legs. Okay. Now come on to hands and knees for our last little segment here. And cat-cow. So when you come up onto table pose, you want to make sure that you have a decent distance between your hands and your feet. What I often see are that people are a little too close, and then it makes the movement a little harder to achieve. So you want to be a little further away than you think. And that way you can find a little bit more mobility in the lower back. So on an inhale, you're going to lift the tailbone up towards the sky, rounding the spine and lifting the head. And then as you exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, look down between your legs. And tailbone moves first, lifts up, spine starts to curl, head lifts, tailbone moves first, exhale, round, then drop the head. A couple more times. I like to take this really slow, and I like to think about my pelvis leading the movement that then ripples through my spine like a wave. This makes this simple, really common motion that we do in a lot of yoga classes a little bit more mindful while slowing it down. Let's do one more. And coming back to neutral spine and table pose, I'm going to introduce you to peanut butter jar. So instead of going down and up in our cat-cow, we're going to go around an imaginary line that runs right in front of our body here. You might want to bring your hands a little bit further apart. You can bend the elbows. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, lower your chest down towards the floor. And then inhale, instead of coming straight up, slide your ribs over to the right. And then come up into that cat stretch through the center over to the left. Start to bend your elbows, chest down towards the floor. So inhale to come up. Exhale around and down. We call this peanut butter jar because you might imagine yourself in a nearly empty jar of peanut butter turned on its side, and you're using your body to scrape around the edges. And if peanut butter isn't your thing, that's not really my thing either, but maybe Nutella or marshmallow cream. Let's go the other way. Some people call this cement mixer. Okay, get that image in your head, and barrel rolling on its side. And coming back up to cat stretch, pause. Let's inhale one more cow, tailbone lifts, head lifts. And we'll round the spine and exhale back to child's pose. And stay here for a couple of breaths. Come back up onto hands and knees. Roll over onto your back. Lying down for corpse pose. Maybe take a moment to stretch your low back again. Walk a little side to side. And if you feel more comfortable, if your lower back is tight or sore, you can come back to this lean-to shape with your legs. We actually call this constructive rest pose. It doesn't really ring very sweetly like a lot of poses. But if it's okay, let's stretch out your legs. It's nice to lay completely flat sometimes. Another option is to put a slightly rolled blanket underneath the thighs. I'm gonna give you that outstretched feeling, but help the low back tilt a little bit. It feels nicer. I like to place my hands on my belly and relaxing here. That is similar to when we did empty coat sleeves, having your hands on the belly reminds you to breathe a little deeper into the torso, relaxing for the nervous system. And once you're settled in here, take notice of how you feel. If you've been carrying around tension for a long time, it might be the case that one yoga practice isn't quite enough to release that deeply held holding that's been there for so long. So you can offer yourself a bit of self-compassion for what you've been able to do today without putting yourself on the hook for achieving a particular outcome. Just being glad for what is available. And see if it's possible to let your head get a little heavier as your neck muscles relax. Soften through your face. Maybe you can feel your eyeballs sinking into your head, jaw releasing. Excuse me. Feel your shoulders settling more towards the floor. That may mean that it's more comfortable to let your hands go and rest by your side, which is fine. Notice how your upper back presses into the floor. Perhaps it's possible for more of your upper back to connect with the floor as you relax and settle. Similarly with your hips, your buttocks, maybe a little bit more connects to the floor. Let your legs roll outward if that's where they want to go. Make sure your feet and toes are soft. Heavy legs. And it's normal for your fingers to curl towards the palms when the hands are relaxed. We stay here for as long as you like. As much rest as you need. And I wish you a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week. May you be well.